It would be hilarious. Bermie's goals is like, well, we can't hard drop San Martin. We'll just hard drop Picardo instead. Funnily enough, they are quite close to silence. They were right. But yeah, they're on more of a split this time around, which I'm grateful for. I like any team that sees something go badly and decide to switch things up afterwards. So Burmese goals, in my heart, they are now forgiven.
Oh, that's nice of you. Very friendly indeed.
They're welcome.
I'm glad.
Off towards the western side we go then. Well, Pozzo being held by Twisted Minds. Weibo going a little bit further down towards Montenuevo. God, it has been a shocking day for VP, hasn't it?
It's not been great. No, it's definitely not been great. They have got 8 points, and it looks like that may be close to all they get here. There's been 1 or 2 moments where they've chimed in and had a decent showing, but yeah, it's been messy. It's been it's been pretty bad for them.
Damn, they're pulling a team secret, dude.
They really are. They really are. I mean, to be fair, they do have company down towards the bottom end of the tables, right? It's not. No, it is bad. I mean, you got the Boars, you got Nuclear Zone, you got ETSH. A little bit further ahead, you've got Burmese Ghouls. And right now, they're the bottom 5, right? And that is exactly where you don't want to be. The 11th place bubble is 18 points as it sits right now for Twisted Minds after 5 games that we've had. That's just shy of a 4-point average. So I think that's 3.8, if I'm not mistaken. I think I am mistaken. I'm not going to try and do it again, though. It's a fairly low average. So, you know, 1 big game. It's all it takes right now to get you out of the bottom 5. That will get harder as time goes on. Malloy, not the last of Virtus Pro, but he's certainly going to feel like it right now. He's got a pump-action shotgun, no helmet, no armor, no meds, and very close to no hope. Steps out, opens the door. Ah, they know where he is now. And it's going to be a full descent onto his position. Giving it a good go, though, and giving them some trouble. 1, 2. Oh, he nearly connected on that third one. Oh, that was dangerous. Oh, that would have been so bad for Arc if they had not been able to get through with that third player. I thought Glory was going to be snuffed out there, too.
Kind of sick, though, to be fair. Maybe down in 15th place, but doing it in style. On the other end of things, for Nuclear Zone, the lead bars are fully in. There is not much reaction going on in that reactor at the moment.
Sorry, if you're going to talk about control media and nuclear reactors, you've got to get it right.
What did you say?
Normally carbon or boron control rods, I believe. Typical.
Yeah. What was the old one?
I'm not sure. You talking about? I don't know. Are you talking about one of the nuclear reactor meltdowns that we've had over the history of them? I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, the RBMK, that was lead.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that didn't go so well.
No, it didn't. Anyway, let's not talk about that too much.
Hey, look, it's interesting history, and hopefully they're going to be able to recover from their meltdown and see if they can get up towards the top spot. Bring out some of that plutonium power, you know, for Nuclear Zone.
What they need. Reverb on the reverse. Up the hill. ESH making it happen. This is the safest way to do it as well. So fair enough. Can't believe I'm analyzing how sticky a car's wheels are to the side of a mountain, but here we are in PUBG Mobile.
Yeah.
That's where it all takes place.
You love to see it. Spider cars. Clambering up all sorts of mountains. I mean, that's what E-Arena were able to leverage, right? With the buggy, which is generally the most sticky of the vehicles. Was able to get up to that super duper high ground, isolated position that Sakura was able to sit on and rain from up on high. Rain hell from above. Terrible time for everyone else. Well, that's what afforded him that opportunity. DRX moving in, close to the blue zone, leaving Torre Hamada. And Blank, I think I can confirm that we did not have a hot drop this time. We're into minute, what is it? We're 6 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. hey, we're fine. We didn't have a hot drop.
Yeah, again, I think that making those adjustments from one game to the next is correct. Especially here in Group Rare, we've got 3 days to make it to the top of the tables. I think for Burmese Ghouls, it's much more of a... It's a nice thing to do for them, purely for E-Arena. It's quite sportsman-like, where E-Arena is currently in first place. You're basically saying we're not going to ruin all your Miramars. Obviously, they're ruining their own, but changing it this early is going to not create massive problems for E-Arena going forward. And E-Arena actually has a chance right now. So no matter what happens, I think for Burmese Ghouls, it is very sportsman-like to do that.
I mean, sportsman-like, sure, but it is generally more of a self-interested, we're just going to try and earn as many points as we can without holding a grudge kind of situation. So I think a lack of holding a grudge, I don't know if I'd call that sportsmanship, but I do get where you're coming from, and I think I generally
I've seen
agree.
people ruin top teams' games before doing that.
Yeah, that's
multiple
fair.
times.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But you're right. They have adjusted. They're more concerned with own points tallies. They'll let that one go. They'll allow E-Arena to continue unchallenged, or at least for the time being. Zedwolf, oh, he's been knocked from quite a distance away here. Flash of... Let me put the beam on. There's a difficult position to go for the rescue towards. He's very, very low. Not quite able to get that flush. The smoke's there. While they're still taking shots, they are still trying to slow it down, but it's not going to work. A huge south shift. I was too preoccupied with these players out in the field, but blank, a massive shift down to the south.
Yeah, absolutely. Over towards where currently Regnum Kai is playing. This is a very, very good circle for them to get on with. I do sort of agree with the desk that calling yourself win is a little bit on the nose. I'm just waiting for the day when we get a player called PMGC 2026 champion. I would love that. And I think someone should do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Not only because it would be funny if you did win, but it would also be hilarious even if you didn't. And I would not make fun of you for it.
I feel like that's Kitsune's new name, no? He needs a new name.
That's, you know what? I was making a joke. You're being mean. You're being mean.
Well, you know, that's what you get. That's what you get for not qualifying. As the circle heads all the way down to the south, we saw Regnum Kaya on that split. It looks like they've dragged their forces back together, though, because they know that teams are going to start to crunch in. Threat across the way from Flash, from Weibo Gaming now as well, from Boars. Maybe not quite as much of a threat, but still a presence that you do not really want to cross if you can help it. And they will be able to consolidate to the east side of Montenuevo, out west of Power Grid and Picardo. All the other teams are going to try and find their home. There was a lot of teams further to the north, up towards Crater Fields, which means that this north side is going to be much more packed, and you could see that on the map. You guys can see actually over on the map feed, which is available on various, I believe, various platforms, but definitely on YouTube. And you can take a look at where all your favorite teams are at all times. But we can see right now on our map that there's a huge grouping of teams towards that Power Grid corner of this circle.
It's a difficult one as well, because this is sort of Valley of Death type of deal right now. Over towards the center of this one, Regnum Kai is very lucky to actually have some kind of position to play which is safe. That buggy is salvageable.
It's nice.
Fine. Yeah. Bit awkward getting that one caught. Slightly delays the rotate. Not that it really matters. There's not many teams in this area anyway. Ahead of you is Weibo on that front side. Burmese Ghouls get themselves a central position ahead of E-Arena as well, so they can do a little bit more on this match. But once again, it is none other than the Flash towards a lovely spot to play from. It will get a little bit claustrophobic with the amount of teams looking their way, but if they can maintain this, it remains in circle for a long time, then they do have a good chance from this spot.
Next circle coming in a couple of seconds, just under 10 now. We'll see it pop. It does continue to sit right on top of Burmese Ghouls, of Regnum Kaya, Influence Rage and E-Arena out on that eastern side. So what can Team Flash do on that southwest edge to keep up with the pack at the top. Weibo, though, with a more difficult rotate, and they're going to try and send it straight on into the west side. Shots already laying down into them from DRX, and Twisted Minds have Chudo up in front of them. So Weibo having a tough time, and that is going to be exactly why they walk into the wall, and that's a flush immediately. Point stolen, but it is a point taken away from Weibo.
I think I was a bit of an early push coming through from Weibo there. Really fully have the information needed over towards that northeast side. What I will say is it's very weird seeing China being as aggressive as they have been throughout all the lobbies we've seen play. I think if Tiamba was playing like they did on day 3, they could have easily qualified. But again, it's still interesting that even Tiamba had it in their wheelhouse to be extremely aggro in these games. So it's nice to see, especially from Weibo as well, who have Order, Sook as well, 33Z, who've typically been very much split off angle players. I don't know where they're going right now.
See where they can go. Walsh drawn short against Alliance. It's going to be the rest of Twisted Minds trying to flee the scene. And I don't know how successful that's going to be. Freak very, very low, has to stop off for a heal. This isn't in the next zone, but it's closer to it than Alliance are. And it might be that Alliance have to push through this same ground as well, Blank. So potential to be a little bit of a stronghold, but not if Lord goes down. And that's what DRX are trying to see to.
You see immediately backed off the angle there, seeing the multiple shots in the sand plummeting up in front of him. Twisted Minds do have an outpost in Chudo off towards that eastern side, which they can regroup on. It's just this open zone in front of them, which is quite hard to pass. Definitely a stage 4 circle on this one, John. It is nice for a lot of teams. We move further up over towards Power Grid, confirming on basically level playing field. It is just very rough for all our teams playing down towards this valley to have to move out now, because so many teams will know exactly where each other are playing, will take shots as soon as they make that move. So you're sort of waiting for those final moments to really break outwards.
And see how well you can break through as well. Because it is always tough when you have to wait until the last moment. Circle pops and again goes towards that central hill. Keeps things tight, but those teams on the south really going to have a nightmare now. Look at the number of teams cut out here. Twisted Minds and ETSH up over on that west side, of course, that we're on board with. But Weibo, Flash, Boars, Nuclear Zone. You've got Arc, you've got True Rippers, E-Arena even on the east side, all cut out by this circle. And in stage 4, you expect maybe 1 or 2 more to be more central. Not to be, though. Everybody's going to have to make that crash.
Yeah, we're playing out to open zone now. I think for Geek as well as Boars, slightly easier as well for Regnum Kaya, basically holding the field. They have to be very clean on their shots, though. Well played to the Flash, crabbing a lot of those shots over towards Weibo as they look to make their move out from that western side. ETSH up against Twisted Minds here with Freak as well as Lord, just beached basically in that car.
Trying to get himself unstuck, but it is a tough time to do so with the zone bearing down on the outskirts here. Weibo making shots out towards ETSH, but this is from the hero in the blue zone. So they're fighting to try and give themselves access further up to allow them to move further into this one. Twisted Minds holding with 3, and ETSH cannot make it anyway through there. And will not be carrying on into this match, but there's plenty more teams still left to take up the mantle of this fight. Weibo still flexing all the way out with Order and Hero, the 2 players remaining on their side. Order just about to start dipping into the zone now, but DRX are right and slap bang in front of them. They're not taking shots though, and he may have just found an opening that probably should have been. Okay.
Nice.
That's so unfortunate. The topple on the vehicle, that will spell the end of Weibo. Yeah, he's not getting out of there. Unfortunate, but good news for DRX. They're able to pick up the point.
I tried to pull the old Kung Fu Turtle on them. Didn't quite work out. Surprised those nades didn't do more damage, but here's True Rippers holding off versus Nuclear Zone. Slight whiff on the nade there, but it back straight backwards over towards the body. 2 days, it didn't quite go on target, but absolutely did the work.
That's what you'll take those, right? You take the wins where you get them. Through Rippers now. Harsh looking to step up, and a lot of damage done already, but there's sight lines from the off angles, and it's forcing him into the fight. That doesn't matter though. He's ready for it. As the spray down around the corner, the pump action there. One more shot. No, the shell doesn't land. Will there be backup from Hydro as he spots the ankles, cannot sweep them? The Heat, they're able to stay alive, but he's just going to continue to have this position chomped down on by Tourniquet, by E-Arena on their outpost. They're back to their old tricks, Blank. They're playing the edge.
That's the classic for Heater play right there. Guy's a bit of a clutch maestro when it comes down to it. But you're right, E-Arena having oversight on this means that he is almost definitely done for. As soon as he moves out in this vehicle, it's straight into open ground. Even has to swing by here. If E-Arena don't finish him off, the blue absolutely will. We are getting our next shift on the circle here as Burmese Ghouls continues to hold out that lovely bit of high ground over towards the western side of power grid here. DRX still trying to discover where Twisted Minds are playing. Taking a while though. It's like budget Hercule Poirot. I guess I should say Benoit Blanc these days.
Not like that though. Got to say, we'll talk to Max. He'll set you right.
What, Benoit Blanc?
That's right. That's the one. That's for Heater.
I'm not French though.
No, but neither is he.
Exactly. Which is why he's Benoit Blanc.
Nah, he's got that southern North American drawl. You know. That's some real New Orleans with it. Very uncertain where that accent all comes from. But anyway, let's get back into the game because Team Flash, they sped right into the middle of this one, Blank. They somehow managed to get through a lot of the teams around from the southwest side. They have just taken 2 knocks and flashes, though. But that is from the Burmese Ghouls, who have actually moved over to that area. So a nice little pick up there. They continue to hold a pretty dominant position into this circle. They're having a pretty good time. Who knew that if you don't hot drop at the start of Miramar, you can get into a good position? Wow.
Ah, this is great from Twisted Mind. I know this one. Max one told me about this. It's Le Roté de Bleu. Very weird. Doesn't make much sense. Not sure why it happened. But Twisted Minds essentially sail off into the distance, into the storm. Never to be heard from again.
Sad. Oh well. There they go. Into the never-ending storm of waiting for the next match. Regnum Kaya, 2 elims now. On the western side, they've been chilling for a while. As we've seen them in this location for a very, very long time. You can see they're looking up at the mountain that the Burmese Ghouls currently sit on and thinking, wow, how are we going to deal with this? This is nasty. We'll have to wait and see what they've got up their sleeve, what tricks they can ply on that western edge. North side, Influence Rage are going to have to go for a run out, and E-Arena are bolstering their forces to try and stop it.
Influence Rage. Send over the tops, E-Arena. Kind of the nemesis of the lobby right now is Influence Rage for them. It's always nice to see these moments unfold. Rivalries between 2 squads, both just as good as each other, but a lovely nade over the top. That was to airburst early. Doesn't do quite enough damage, which leaves E-Arena on a 3 versus 4. Wrap around the sides. 2 players from Influence Rage getting a lot of damage done.
Oh, a little bit discordant from Influence Rage. It felt like 2 players were trying to step forward to the rest of them, just not in cahoots with it. 2 players though, 3 players now down, and it's all up to Tourniquet to turn it around. 3 reses potentially there, but they need to crawl fast. They need to crawl forwards. There's off angles coming through, and of course it's Arcred chiming in with a third party on this fight. E-Arena with just Tourniquet will fall down, and the rest of Influence Rage, they managed to get 1 res, but now Arcred are on the surround. Our top 2 teams tumbling, Blank, taking the tussle and feeling the burn. Arcred are here to close it out.
I think that if you are E-Arena on that final game, you are very unhappy with Tourniquet there. NC2 does a huge amount of work, and I think if he had an off angle and Tourniquet wasn't healing underneath, that was a very different story between them and Influence Rage. But you're right, Arcred, insane third parties as always. That's what they really do capitalize on, and I think players in the lobby will start to get less and less concerned with these big engagements, knowing that Arcred is on the prowl. DRX down to just one player now. Seems like a consistent thing, losing these engagements when it comes down to it. Versus Regnum Kaya, that is a strong team to come up against.
I mean, not right now, though. They're down on one player themselves. It's actually a lot of influence coming through from Alliance, from Flash as well. Across the way, that's caused so many problems. But Wild is still in action for Regnum Kaya. I think is that the last? No, it isn't. As it is going to be still at least one more player from DRX to go for the fight.
Nice.
Oh, he's going to be able to stand back up. The top QXC, though, he's still got some fight left in him. He is now guaranteed the last player. Regnum Kaya fell. In the meantime, they tried Blank to push up towards that north side, towards DRX. The approach was okay, but there's just so many teams still alive in stage 6 and in this area. Maybe that's what's happening, right? The teams are just getting so choked in by the surrounding, by teams not wanting to go for the fight. But when they do have to, everybody is immediately on it.
Yeah, a really good clutch there coming through from QXZ. Gets the double. I really thought like it was game over for him there. Sadly, both those eliminations were stolen from him. So they dropped down to 6 points. You're right. I think so. Arcred's playstyle, and I've seen it multiple times in the past, where Arcred's playstyle works only some of the time, right? It's not a consistent playstyle. If you don't get those opportunities with third parties, or you're not in the right spot at the right time, you just fall flat on your face. So the majority of the points that Arcred is finding is, like you say, they are just essentially the vultures of the lobby. I'm not a huge fan of that playstyle. I think it can work, but I think the problem is that if it works here, there's a big chance that then it just doesn't work in the grand finals. You see them down towards bottom 5. So yeah, I think Arcred, although it looks okay now, I do want to see some more just good old-fashioned gameplay from that team.
It might see them into last chance, but much further, not sure. Jimmy tumbling down for Alliance. They had a really big game earlier on Erangel, but not so much since. Teams have leapfrogged them. A nice flat approach towards the top spot towards the end of the day here, Blank, as well as the tables are likely to be closing down. Fairly similar to this from that first down to 6th place, depending on what Flash can do here. But generally, much more linear than we saw from Group Green. No massive burst outs early, so potential things to get interesting in the next few days. That nade not going to find it on the bounce. Burmese Schools, they finally take a knock, and they've been holding on this high ground for a long, long while. Maybe they're getting too bold, but that should be very resible. They've got the plateau almost entirely under control. A nade on down towards SnowX, and the balls are very much cooked here. Just the one player standing is Havlik. Ooh, okay. Way overextended there for Burmese Schools.
Yeah, there's so many places on top of that where or just throw down the smoke. I think you expend utility at that point to get that res for free. I think Burmese Schools throws away a perfectly good chicken dinner there. Just on some pretty early peaks, some dangerous peaks, and a careless res there as well. You are having a player looking to move over, hit their way, and pick both of them up, but it's a little bit tough to get over that way. Havlik underneath now, also looking up, could be a thorn in the side for them. Yeah, very weird from Burmese Schools.
I mean, you could just see it was completely open and clear to the angle. They should have known that. Just crawl back a little bit and it's completely safe. Yeah, it's nasty stuff, but they do manage to get across, start that rezzing protocol. Unknown as well. Spots win, in fact, off in the distance. Yeah, he's aware of Havlik being in this position. Havlik has to push up. Yeah, he's seen him now with a shotgun in hand. Can't really take that challenge, but does drop the smoke, swap the weaponry to get a little bit more range firepower, and that's exactly what was needed. Unknown. I mean, what was he doing there? It felt flounderous. But that's going to leave them down a player. And Yatka from that high ground, not really going to be able to do too much about it. Unknown really isolated himself into that. Could not win the fight against Havlik, who had 0 cover.
Yeah, almost felt like he brushed his whole thumb across the screen there and just really whiffed the spray entirely. Not great from Burmese Ghouls. I think I also look like he's very unconfident, right? Very timid taking that fight versus Havlik. I think it's very obvious when a player isn't super confident in their gun skill is that if they don't have any utility, they start to look like that, which, like you say, it was very twitchy.
It's not what you want to see. Not what you want to see at all. Not this late in the game either. At the moment, I feel like ArcRed maybe have the better spot in the circle right now. I would give it to Burmese Ghouls.
Pythons?
Burmese Pythons,
Hello?
that's the thing. That's an animal that exists. Burmese Ghouls, if they hadn't just done something like that. Hopefully they can get back into my good graces, but let's see just what they're able to extract from this. I think ArcRed, though, they have been generally a lot more impressive from playing the higher range off angles, and I think this is exactly what they're going to be looking for here. And into the Burmese Ghouls, I think they have the approach better than any other team. GK really trapped, crunched in. I don't think they make it around the headland.
Yeah, the geeky Scorpions down the southeast side, they're trying to get around towards ArcRed.
All right. You're a geeky Scorpion.
That's the thing. It's a real animal.
Uh-huh. I don't believe
you've got little glasses on.
You've really chuckled yourself with that. Goodness me. Oh, he's going to be asking AI to make an image of that in a minute. Win, though. Oh, he wants a picture of that. Frame it. Havlik can't go into the fight again this time around. It's up against Win, who does win and lives up to his namesake. Godspeed. Naden down. Canonically, one of the major enemies of Flash, once a friend, turned to foe. We'll see if they are going to crunch that one down, but no, they let him go. Win will be able to heal, and they're more concerned with ArcRed.
It's so weird to me, like Burmese Ghouls have been playing on this high ground for so long, yet seem to have the least amount of control over it. The fact that ArcRed's got up and from the position they were in, so confusing to me. But this is good old-fashioned gameplay, and I'm much more impressed with the way ArcRed's playing out this end game.
And on the high ground, yeah, they've got the center of the circle now. GK are doing pretty good to find inroads here, though. Towards the higher ground, towards those slightly more accessible areas. Ragnarok wants to be an elevator for the rest of the team in the buggy, but Win is there. Oh dear. And there's off angles from the Burmese Ghouls up on high. We do still have a horse in the race. Nerzed on the back line, trying to push forwards. They still haven't got rid of Win. Finally, he goes down, but the nades are going to start to pour on through. Burmese Ghouls, I've spotted them, and they are trapped around the edge there for GK. They're going to have a tough time, but Ichi is down. And again, ArcRed, just keep this one going. Keep this one burning. And Nerzed stepping up. I mean, with Ichi down, it's going to be a lot harder, but Yatka moves in to play an extra player for ArcRed on this approach. The fact that GK haven't been completely obliterated so far is crazy, and they might actually find something here. Easy for Bad Boy, keeps them together. The Burmese Ghouls have got major threats sent their way. GK are as 4. They're getting the reses here, blank. ArcRed get rid of the Burmese Ghouls, but now GK might just have the shots that they're looking for. A reposition necessary for Ramses around the edge, but that's what they needed to even the numbers, even the score lines, and another shot over the top would do it. Might just seal the deal. It's a nade coming up on high from Easy for Bad Boy to do so much, and it is ArcRed to be able to mount that top of the hill, take the Ghouls out of the running, and control GK around the edge. Nice control from ArcRed. They're not just a third-party squad.
No, they're not. But also, Burmese Ghouls did kind of roll out the red carpet, say, please come on in.
Yeah.
You have all the high ground. That high ground's for you. Would you like a lemonade with your high ground, please? Also, why don't you take some of Lim's offers as well? We'll just walk into you. How about that? You like that? Yeah. That's great, right?
Yeah.
Little bit confused about Burmese Ghouls' play towards that end game there. I think they need to step it up going into tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but ArcRed, I mean, we've seen a lot of them getting stuck in. They are certainly willing to step into the lobby, and that's exactly what you need here at the PMGC. They'll profit immensely from it. A nice result coming on through, and as we close down our day, there's only one place we need to go, and that is to the desk.
Uzbekistan get their first chicken dinner here in the PMGC, and man, this was a very fight towards the end. I do gotta agree, man. We saw a little bit of a gift to the high ground here. Arc Red pulling out the chicken dinner right where they needed to, Max.
I was fuming. GK able to make that wraparound, but also getting free knocks onto the Burmese Ghouls, and because Burmese Ghouls were just over peaking so often. Nitra, I feel like they had no reason to put themselves in danger, and they kept doing so, and they didn't allow Arcred to get there because they were being hyper passive. They kept getting knocked so often that they literally couldn't do anything to stop Arcred because they kept getting knocked by GK. And because of that, Arcred, they push up, they snatch a portion of that high ground away. And it's not just they get a good position to. Look at that elimination count. 7 elims for Ramses is wild in this match.
Yeah, really love that from Arcred. They've been so consistent throughout today, right? So it's only fair that they get to end the day with a win, a really good win as well, right? Because, you know, we've been talking about Burmese Ghouls in that game in particular, right? And they had that position from early on in the game. They were able to hold down the cliff sides until really that top 3 was given to them, or they took the top 3, and then it, you know, it kind of did not go their way. But for Arcred, on the other hand, sweeping on the edge side, as we've seen them do all day, is really, really nice to see them have that momentum, have that wherewithal to actually just make those plays, go for those fights, and get up that cliff. I don't even know how they were allowed up that cliff, right, to get that approach and then come up. Really crazy stuff from Arcred, and GG's.
Yeah, GG's indeed right there. Yeah, Burmese Ghouls. I mean, I got to be critical. You know, you can't lose those guys. That was yours to win right there. You know, Yatka ended up pushing out by himself against Arcred, and once I saw that push, that solo push, I was like, yep, it's over. So I mean, it's tough right here at this stage. Your communication has to be rock solid, especially towards the end game. Even with a good position, one tiny mistake and, you know, another team's going to take advantage of it. So good for Arcred, right? I think Arcred, prior to this game, they were like dead center, middle of the pack, 8th place. For them to take advantage of it and get a good game here towards the end, they're going to feel pretty good going into tomorrow.
Oh, they're going to be over the moon. Arcred were not given a free game, and they were fighting tooth and nail to make sure they can make that transition work out. And they were playing it pretty slow early on because they kind of leapfrogged a lot of teams and actually held the lower side of the cliff, which kept them safe because Burmese Ghouls can't shoot directly down at them. And even if you want to chuck those nades, you don't want to waste that utility because Burmese Ghouls are on this high ground cliff. So if they start wasting utility, they're not going to have resources to wrap up the game. So I think they knew exactly what they were doing in that position. So very happy with Arcred really using that terrain to its full potential. But yeah, as you said already, that solo push of Yakta, Hot Jukes, was definitely a big fumble. I can tell you, maybe Niptura, Yangon Galacticos, watching this back in Myanmar, been like, we didn't qualify, and this is what you do. You take our spot, and this... that's going to be a bit rough to watch. But I still believe that Burmese Ghoul can do some great plays, but I feel like this one definitely should make them rethink their whole approach to finishes like this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's something that can be tweaked, right? That's the good news, is that, you know, it's something that's just got a little bit of tweaking to do and you'll be good to go. It's not the end of the world. And the good thing is that the mistake was done on day 1, not on day 3, when it really, really, really matters. So plenty of time to bounce back from that one. But you see the points on the board here. Arcred able to get 25 points. And honestly, just talking about how, you know, the zone favored both Burmese Ghouls and Arcred able to pick up a lot more points off the back of that.
For sure. All I know is that for Burmese Ghouls in particular, this is one of those games where you got to go with your coach, your analyst, everybody, every resource you got after today, and have a big conversation and figure out, all right, how do we lose this game in particular? And the reason why I'm saying that, especially here at this stage, guys, is do you remember what happened in Group Green, right? When it comes to qualification of just going home or not, it was a 3-way tie. Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about is this could have been that game where it could have decided whether you go home or go to last chance, right? So that's why we're being really hard point on this, is because you cannot lose those. At the same time, there's still 2 more days, right? But you got to bounce back from that big time here, especially tomorrow, Max.
Talking about bounce back, Virtus Pro bounced downwards. Like, they're trying to bounce and they went even deeper underground. They've been digging the entire day. I don't know what's happening with Virtus Pro. That was a 0-point game, right? So Virtus Pro, after having dominated CSA, I was like, come on. Oh my goodness. My eyes, they burn. Virtus Pro, what is happening? Oh, that is not a spot I was expecting to see them in. But looking at the top of the rankings, Arcred jumping up, right? Now in 4th position, just behind Influence Rage. That's been slipping a little bit after their great streak at the start of the day. And Flash now in 2nd, like really SEA coming out swinging on day 1, Nipchura, with Flash and E Arena.
They really, really are. But you know what? I'm also really happy with how the middle pack of the lobby has been able to step up in the second half of today, right? In the first half, we had everybody else had what, 20 odd points, something like that. But now Arcred 54, Regnum 45. Like, we're getting up to a point where that gap isn't so big. Like, it's still substantial, right? You know, you got Weibo in 7th place with 43, and then EA 65. I mean, that's 20 odd points, but it's only 20 odd points. It's only 1 good game. It's not 2, it's not 3 like we saw earlier in today. So really nice for the rest of the lobby to kind of realize what's going on and adjust.
Oh, there you go, actually. Daily MVP is going to be Tony K from E Arena.
Wow.
Congratulations. Of course, he showed his potential during the gauntlet with amazing solo plays, and he's going to be able to do it once more this time around. So 2 average eliminations over the course of a day. Really, really impactful stuff. So Tony K living up to the name of maybe close to Tony K. No, the 2 players are menacing on the battlegrounds.
Hey, those are 2 big names right there. Attorney K definitely putting his stamp on the day. It's good to see such a huge improvement from EA in particular. Hopefully we could see that improvement tomorrow from a team like Virtus Pro, because guys, I just did a little bit of the math. That is the roughest day 1 of a team so far in PMGC. Pretty tough. Gauntlet was on day 1, APG with 12 points. Group Green was Team Secret with 11 points. So 8-point day in 6 matches is tough. It's going to be a difficult bounce back, but this team has such a storied roster, right? We know what they can do. Hopefully they can make that happen tomorrow, Max.
Hopefully so. I would just recommend them to slow down the gameplay a little bit. I feel like they're trying to play their own game, which clearly is not working in a lobby like this because the entire lobby is playing relatively slow. So they got to make sure that they can make that change tomorrow.
Well, let's go ahead and throw it on over to the 7WG for a great interview.
PMGC 2025 is absolutely just flying by. That's it. Day 1 of Group Red is done and dusted. And next to me, I have Luxy from Regnum Kardia. They finished in 5th place with 45 points. Now, Luxy, I want to go back to the Gauntlet because you guys are one of the favorite teams of the tournament. What was one of the biggest lessons that you learned from the Gauntlet that you can apply here in Group Red?
Valla siz Gauntlet takımda favori oynayan takımlardan bir tanesisiniz. Gauntlet'ta niye öğrendiniz ve bu kırmızı grupta kullanıyorsunuz?
Gauntlet'te lobiye tam alışamadık. Takımları analiz edik. Şu anki kırmızı grupta takımlar bize daha az denk geliyor. Daha rahat oynuyoruz.
So at the Gauntlet stage we didn't get used to lobby yet, but I know we get used to it, and then there's a lot of teams that fight with us in this tournament.
Yeah, there was. I think one of them that you, especially Silas, was mentioning. I think it was DX at one point. He was saying he did not like DX. Well, luckily for you, Silas, I see you smiling over there. They're not here, so you don't really have to worry about it. Now, today, especially going back to Erangel, you did start off slow. You ended up with 2 9th place finishes, 1 ALM, and then 5 ALMs, but then you picked it up. What was the cause of that slow start in Erangel?
Valla Erengel'de biraz yavaş başladınız. İlk 2 maçta birinde 9, birinde 15'te bıraktınız. Neydi sebebi?
Erangel'larda 2 maçta 3 kişi başladık maçlara. İlk alan adam kaybettik. Büyük ihtimal 4 olsaydık 2 maçta daha yüksek puanlar alabilirdik.
So the reason we start slow because we lose the first man in the matches. So our tactic for as a 4 player, we didn't execute it that well. So that was one of the reasons why we start very slow.
Now, going into tomorrow, you're currently 14 points away from third place. What are you looking to do tomorrow, especially at the start of the day, to make sure you get yourself into contention for that third place?
Şimdi ya siz 14 puanla üçüncüye kalıyorsunuz. Yaklaştınız. Ne yapacaksınız ki o üçüncüye tutmak için?
Stabil oynamaya devam edeceğiz. 2 gün daha stabil oynarsak ilk üçe gireceğimize inanıyorum.
We'll focus on stability, try to get much points and try to live as long as possible. So I believe that we can make it in these last 2 days.
I believe you guys can make it too. I mean, you guys are Regnum Karya, the pride of Turkey. So I'm hoping it happens because tomorrow, I mean, it could be at the end of the day, it could end up being make it or break it for some of these teams as we saw what happened in Group Re. And I can't wait to see what's going to be happening tomorrow in day 2 of Group Red.
Us too, 7. Tomorrow is gonna be a big day, but we gotta give a big thank you today to the Infinix GT30 series, the official gaming phone of PMGC 2025. Engineered for precision, performance, and victory, empowering every gamer to hashtag be the one and outplay the rest on the global stage. I mean, when it comes to Regnum Karya, we definitely believe in this squad. We know what they can do. 14 points away from third place. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be more important than ever, Maxman, for this team.
Yeah, it's going to be very important for them to try and finally secure a spot in the top 3. I mean, I was looking at their points here. They don't have a single chicken dinner, and yet in placement points, they're still really high to teams that have got a win. So they're consistent, man. They're always making it to the late game. So Regnum Karya, I feel like once they get that big win here, Hot Jukes, they're going to start to build even more momentum in Group Red.
I believe so as well. Well, guys, Neptura, any final thoughts on the day? Who do you think needs to make it happen tomorrow?
Needs to make it happen? Come on, we got to get VP. Come on, I believe in you. Do something tomorrow.
Yep, that would be a bounce back that I definitely want to see. Well, guys, we will see you tomorrow. I'm Hot Jukes here with Max.